and let's head on to the fundamentals. All right, so first things first. Our fear and greed index is at a 17, so it's risen from 13. Good morning. Good morning. I've been okay. I visited a friend today. Yeah, I gave him flowers. Uh, yeah, it was quite good. So I'd say today was quite fulfilling. Yeah, but a little bit stressful. It is finals for me, and as a graduating senior, professors like to cram everything at the end. Then I have LSATs, but in any case, the trading is my pastime. It's what I enjoy. So yeah. So going over the fear and greed index, we are at a 17. So we rose from 13, 4 points. We haven't left extreme fear just yet. But that does tell me that there is potential for more upside. We did get our downside move. Not as low as I was expecting, but we were talking about it being around there. Unfortunately, our stream ended before we could really capitalize on the move. So, things are what they are. And now, looking at the liquidation levels or the leverage, we can see that the longs outweigh the shorts both on the 1 day, I think on the 7 day as well. Yeah, massively. This is a 1 to 2 or 2 to 1 rather liquidation ratio. Um, Not the same here on the 30 day. It's like 1 to 1.5 maybe. But what is true is that, especially on the 1 day, you have clusters both to the upside and the downside, and it does look like the ones to the downside are much closer. So I expect a move back down, but we'll have to see if that's true based on our technicals in just a moment. Looking at our RSI heat map, we are moving towards strong on the 4 hour. I do think we could potentially continue upwards because of the fact that even on our higher time frames, such as the 1 week, we are technically still weak. Now, there are coins that are outliers, such as Hype and Rave. However, most of our coins that have value, such as ADA, Solana, Bitcoin, Ethereum, I don't know if you can say Doge has value, but it is the biggest meme coin. They're still in weak. So I do think we get this is sort of the upside that Piper and I was talking. Well, if you listen to Piper, but this is something that Piper and I agree upon very much. Looking at our liquidation heat map, we can see that there's a hotspot about 71,293. So we can definitely go there tonight, or sorry, this morning. It is nighttime where I'm at. On the 48 hour, it goes as low as 7744. Let's go to the 1 week. We can see that there is hotspots both to the downside and to the upside here on the 1 week, and I think we get this. So we have tapped this area before, just barely, and we can see that that's why there's liquidity up there, because people went short at this region. So it wouldn't surprise me if we squeeze upward going into the weekend, because it is the weekend. And I don't know if this is the time to say TGIF because there's so much liquidity to the downside, but is what it is. We might get a weekend dump. However, if the weekly closes strong, we probably might even close to 75,000. If we close at 75,000, this becomes a very big sort of return. And on the 1 week, as you guys know, and we'll see in a bit, there is a bullish butt cheek pattern forming, which means that we are likely to get just a quick wick to the upside to the lower high zone that I've mapped out. So that about does it for our liquidity heat map. Yeah, not a lot has changed. So let's look at what we have here on the technicals, because that is the fun part. Now, I haven't looked at price right now. The last time I looked at price was maybe like an hour ago, I'd say. So I do think this will be quite interesting, to say the least. Hold on. Yeah. All right. So looking over here, right? We did. We're, good morning, little fish. Good. Oh, hey, Eddie. Good morning. Yeah. So we technically reclaimed the EMA 9 or the 9 EMA on the weekly, but we still need that close to confirm if we actually did get that or reclaim that level, because this has sort of been our bane since technically over here, all the way back in January. Every time you failed it, actually, no, it's technically all the way over here back in October. It's just been the bane of our existence or the bane of Bitcoin's existence. But if you're able to reclaim this and stay above it, that does open that move back to this lower high zone. And as I keep illustrating, but have to keep illustrating, right, for those who might be viewing just the recordings, it is possible for Bitcoin to make a move to the 200-day moving average just based off a move in the candle that it's done before. This is going to be very quick, right? And the 200-day moving average is currently sat at around 88,000, so it's probably going to go lower to about this area right here, which is about 87,700. So again, I am looking at that area to take profits because we are in a long since 62,000, and I think we can make a lot of profits by taking here and then going short. Now, is it possible for Bitcoin to blast to 98,000? The heat map does say we have liquidity here, which does make sense because you have this candle right here, but that's too much resistance for me to think that Bitcoin is going to get up there, given that it's kind of in shambles right now, right? So that's about the 1 week. Let's look at USDT dominance. Hey, Android, welcome. Let's look at USDT dominance. So I am liking the idea that we are in a broadening wedge on the 12 hour for USDT dominance. To me, that makes a lot of sense, given the fact that now we get mostly body instead of wick. So if we place this over here, then that's mostly wick right there. But then over here, it also makes sense. So this to me makes more sense. So it's a broadening wedge, which means you can get your dump here on USDT dominance because this is a bearish structure, right? Push back down, grab that liquidity on the FVG, and you have support by the lower trend line and the dynamic reactor, and then you can push back up and potentially break out of that broadening wedge. So I do think that we're likely going to get some sort of play here, but I'm watching it carefully because this is the USDT dominance of the 1 day. But note, you're almost overextended. I mean, your last div was bearish and your trend is bearish based on the delta pulse, and your structure in and of itself is bearish. But if you're overextended, there's a chance that you find some support on the previous monthly low and you bounce off this. And if things pan out the way I think they will, your 1 day dynamic reactor is going to approach your previous month low, and it's going to set some sort of very strong support here on USD dominance. Oh, hey, bye Felicia. Hey, girl, welcome. Yeah, welcome everyone. Hope you guys have a wonderful Friday today. And good morning. Although I think for some of us it might be afternoon. I don't know. Let me look at the chat. Good morning. Good morning. Yes. Yes. Nope. Stop it, please. No. Some people don't know what you're talking about, Gur. No. Some people don't know what you're talking about. Let's look at the oil for fun. Mind you, we will look at cryptos, but if you guys are new, don't be shy. Send whatever coin or asset you want me to look at. I'm just running through some very interesting or things that I find interesting at the moment. So one of those things that I think everyone should find interesting is oil, right? Oil prices have just been, well, the media outlets will say it's been erratic. It's just been going up, but that's really not true. Actually, it's in a technically geopolitically great state relative to what we got over here. All right, relative to what we got over here. So we're in an ascending channel, which is bearish in nature. You can see we tapped the bottom trend line. So because of how things are, people will buy it at this point, of course. But notice that people are selling at around your $100 level. You are bearish as well. so this 12 hour, there is more buying than selling right now, which makes a lot of sense when you think about it because it's a sub $100 per barrel of oil, of crude oil. So, but the structure it's putting on right now is bearish, so I do think we want to basically get a test of this again. And what I'm think might happen, again speculation, we might get a McDonald's or bearish butt cheeks, as we like to say here on the stream. I don't know how to draw a fart cloud, but yeah, this would have like a flash force pushing it back down. So we might be seeing a $90 barrel oil again, maybe even $80 barrel oil again. That would be fantastic for the rest of the world, right? Not just if you're trading it, but in general, this would be great for the rest of the world. It would lower the factors of production and livelihood, so it would be great if this ascending channel does play out and break to the downside. Goodness gracious. uh, oh, Likanuto? Likanuto? Welcome. I hope I didn't butcher that. I know a lot of people say Filipinos are good with languages, but I feel like we butcher them less, but we still butcher them. So yeah, I hope I didn't butcher anyone's name. Let's look at Bitcoin right now. So I've been watching the 15-minute chart and the 4-hour chart. And currently, as it stands, right, this doesn't look like anything traditional. I would say, right, technically no, but if you look at it from a higher time frame, something interesting is happening, right? If you draw a trend line from here, okay, maybe I should do this on another chart so we can actually see, because it's kind of scuffed right now. Let's go here. Let's put in the 15 minutes and the 4-hour. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see it. And then let's turn off market dynamics first. Let's zoom into the recent move. If you put a line right there, right? Technically, you could also just place it flat like that. That would also work, but you'd have to put it at the tops of those candles, right? And then you have this very weird thing, but if you look here, there is a trend line that's formed. So technically, it is a very weird and ugly ascending triangle. I'm not gonna lie, right? This does look like an ascending triangle. Now, I'm not a huge fan of ascending triangles just because they have about an equal chance to break to the upside as they do to the downside. So, even though traditionally this is a fairly bullish pattern, right? And what might be our support for it being bullish? Of course, we can revert back to the 1 week, right? The fact that your CPO plus is green, the fact that the delta between buying and selling on the 1 week is lower and it's getting weaker, that tells you that there is buying pressure, right? Another factor you may want to consider is looking at the 1 day. So if we pull out the 1 day, last I checked, this should still be green. Up. So not only did you get a bullish divergence on your 1 day chart, but you also got your hidden bullish div on the CPO plus, and you're still green, and you've got very strong futures long right here. So this lends credence to the idea that even if this goes down, so long as you don't close below the bottom trend line, I think you should be okay. And the projection for however far this might be is, or however far this pump will be, you just put a flagpole right there, you put it right there, and that places you actually smack dab at the previous month high, which is going to be resistance for Bitcoin. But it also means that you're likely to hit your smart target here on the 1 day. So what does that mean for us in terms of scalping? The bias in terms of course, the higher time frame is technically bullish, at least short-term bullish. Again, based solely on the the performance of this candle, which we've charted with this straight line, as you can see, that's the same height. And if you place it right here from this candle, then it is possible for you to get to the lower high zone or the 200-day moving average. Uh, so the bias, at least short term, is bullish up until you get to this resistance or even at the start of this lower high zone. Uh, let me just quickly change the charts. Yeah. So right now, I'd say that we're fairly bullish as well. Looking at the 1 day, notice how here on our volume profile, and for those who might not be familiar with this indicator, essentially it tells you how much traded volume there is at certain prices and how you can use this to visually determine where price might go is first looking at your point of interest. This is what I like about it is because I'm a contrarian trader. This is great for me because if you're very far from your point of interest, price action tends to want to go back. So this confirms that there is yet another. Well, confirms is not a very strong word, but there is confluence pointing to an incentive existing for Bitcoin on the 1 day, apart from the 1 week, to push to the upside, which is 91,000, right? Or, yeah, 91,000. Now, what also helps when you're using your volume profile is when you see big gaps like this. So we can see at this point, there's just huge gaps, which means that this is mostly algorithm doing the trading here. A lot of people basically put their orders in here, shorts won, and we can see that as the fact because this was our bear flag. The shorts won, cascaded down because people started pulling out their longs, losing conviction, and there's no volume at these points. So what that means for us is price, when it gets to these gaps or areas with gaps, it likes to just quickly fill them out. So that means that from this point, if you get a solid break, you can squeeze back to about 78,000 or touch even that FVG because this is the next high volume node relative to what's surrounding it. But as you can see, it's a really weak volume node. And then you can go up to the next one, which is about at 87,000, like I was saying, 87.7. So 87.7 to me makes a lot of sense as maybe your top for this local breakout, but we'll have to see because it is possible for it to wick, right? Because on the 1 day, visually, this is not that far from the 200-day moving average. So it can absolutely wick with enough volatility. But I do sense that if you get to this point, there's going to be some kind of rejection. If there is no rejection, you'll get the rejection over here. Now, there is a measured move prediction by Market Dynamics up to 98,771. I'm personally not convinced that we could go that far, but you know, anything's possible. It's just not probable in my opinion. But to each their own. Okay. Don't call me Master Wayne, but yes, we can check Sol. We will check Sol. Yeah. Let's check out Solana. Ooh, okay. Solana is in a symmetrical triangle here on the 30 minutes, and it looks good on the 4 hour. You know what? Gur? I'll give you props today. Solana looks pretty good. Just from a quick glance, right? If you squeeze out of this, I fully expect that you break, retest, push, right? Given the 4 hour like that, I do think you can get to about 87.6. Even maybe 89.30. That might be something. Yeah, it does look good. Yeah, so what I would do is if it breaks out, I would wait for the retest. Stop loss below this, right? Actually, that might be too far. Yeah, we're not getting a good RR. So, I mean, if we do that, then the low, we can go here, and that would give us enough of a nice stop. Or there's quite a bit of support there to shoulder us. So I think something like this could work. Because the reason I wouldn't go long right here, even if it does break out, your 30 minutes is nearly overextended. And you are still testing the fluid zero line, so there is a chance that you still reject off this point. So you want like a nice clean break and then enter on the retest and then go maybe for this FVG, which also happens to be macro resistance on the 30 minutes, which is interesting. Yeah. So, and it also happens to be a high volume node. Very fun. So, I think this is something we should definitely look at. I'm going to leave some alerts. Let's leave an alert right here, 84. Let's leave an alert below the candle so we know if it's still good. Let's leave an alert above the prime block so we know if it's gotten above it, and then we'll come back to it. But yeah, Solana actually looks good if it manages to do what I think it's gonna do. Yeah. Hey Lin Ching Yao, welcome. Oh shoot! I realized I didn't get water. Oh man. Okay. I think we should. I'll probably get water before things get exciting. What insight can you provide on XRP and Ethereum? Good question. Uh, Wait. Let's look at Ethereum on the 1 day first. So I mean, bullish butt cheeks on Ethereum, fantastic, right? Nice bullish butt cheek. Uh, let's focus down maybe onto the 12-hour first. I mean, it would have been fantastic if I was looking at Ethereum. The reason I'm not looking at Ethereum right now is because it's basically performing like Bitcoin but a little bit slower, right? Uh, so I'm a little hesitant, but I think Ethereum's doing pretty well for itself. So you could have really gotten a good entry over here. This would have been great, and then stop loss below here, and you would have been completely fine, right? Yeah, that would have been fantastic. But right now on Ethereum, if we jump into the 4 hour, really lowering our time frame here, you did get your bearish div, but it's played out since. You do have a measured move target to about 2,309, but based on what I'm seeing, I think Ethereum pushes farther. Yeah, it's got its own local bullish butt cheek formation. So I think Ethereum pushes farther, much like Solana. Uh, Actually, let's do double screen on this and then check what it looks like on the 1 hour in in the context of the 12 hour. Yeah, I think it's gonna push. Excuse me. Yeah, damn, I can still taste the chicken chop noodles. Oh man, I don't know about you guys, but I love Singaporean food. I know it's like derivative of Malaysian food, but I I love chicken chop noodles. Oh, the measured move target is done automatically, Felicia. So if you go to Market Dynamics Pro, and you scroll down, I think I scrolled down too. No, I didn't scroll down too far. Over here, you click Enable Targets. You'll get a target if it breaks out, up or down. Yeah. So it's all done by the indicator. I'm not the one plotting the measured move targets. So as you saw earlier, like over here, when I was plotting that prediction, that was using like uh, traditional, just putting a candlestick like that, and then not candlestick, but like uh, what's this called? Trend line. um, Putting a trend line just like that and then predicting where that measure move is, and then you can see that there is some confluence to say it'll stop at 76,000. So that's how you do it traditionally. But of course, if market dynamics detects a triangle or whatnot, it'll automatically plot this target for you. So there's a smart target and a measured move. Uh, and if we scroll back just to prove that it does it all on its own, uh, right? If we play this, maybe I should have done 0.5 speed. But yeah, you can see that I think it forms over the next two candles, like after this next candle. Nope. Okay, it hasn't formed yet. Yeah, damn. This is very. There we go. So you can see it's formed a descending wedge or a falling wedge because it's detected it, right? And then if you just continue playing it, you can see it's starting to break out, right? You got the bullish divs. So this was 67,000. We started breaking out, retest, then we got our thing, and it does it automatically. So yeah, very very cool stuff. Hope that answers your question. Okay, Solana. I don't know why I said it like that. Solana crossing 84.29. So actually, we might be able to see it live where it. So I think the condition for how it gets your measured move in smart target projection is that it has to close outside of either the upper or bottom trend line. So if it closes outside of it, we should be getting it. Yeah, should be getting it live. Let me check who joined. No, I guess no. Okay. Yeah. Uh, but while we're just watching to see it and experimenting, I'll just quickly get water. I'll probably be back in. I like to say 2 minutes. I'll be right back, guys. All right, I'm back. Okay. Whew. I went as fast as I could. Certain. Okay. Oh, you can see a little bit of my sweat. Crazy. um, but yeah, I think we get this play. This could be our trade for today. Uh, let's check out a couple coins though. So we do know Hype is one of those coins that, yeah, damn, the short on River, really sad. A little bit, a little bit far. Okay, let's go to Hype. But we could look at River actually. Hold on, let's look at River, see what it's doing. Because it might be doing what the opposite of what the market's doing, right? This goes oversold on the 4 hour, and if you have a wick just like this, and you fill out about 70% of that, so 15%, 0.7 of 15% is 1.5 times 7, so that's 10.5%, I'd like to say, thereabouts, yeah. So if we go over here, so, okay, now let's just put a line right there. Yeah, and I also set an alert right above that line. So wick theory will say that if you have a very long wick like this, you typically want to fill about 70% of the wick, 70 to 90%. So let's check what happens when it reaches that this price. If it's oversold and if we're getting some sort of weakening on the delta pulse wave, then maybe you can long River. But let's go to Hype, because Hype was one of the coins that sort of an outlier, and yeah, that just proves it. Okay. Yeah. Actually, I wonder how Tao's doing. I should probably look at Tao, but ooh, Zek. Zek is also okay. I gotta stay focused. Hold on. One at a time. One at a time, Langstrom. So a 4 hour hype, very interesting. This was an idea that we had, and it didn't reach the FEG, which is unfortunate, right? But good thing that was just an idea. This did not load, but we can see here that hype is still on its way upwards, right? Having said that, we can see that on the lower time frames, the fluid zero line here on the 30 minutes on the MVP ribbon is raising dramatically. And what that means is that this momentum to the upside is unsustainable. So right now, both the 30-minute and 4-hour CPO plus, your swing time frames, both say upside. So what I can reasonably assume is that we're going to go for this premium zone at about 43. I do want a short hype because it seems to be a little bit overextended, right? Let's go set an alert. Oh, no. Let's go set an alert at this point and see what happens. So the idea here is probably going to be something like this. And then back down to this high volume node, we can tighten it a little bit, right? So to accomplish something like this. That would make sense. Let's go to the 12-hour and see what's up. Yeah, your 12-hour is also nearing overextension, so I think this makes a lot of sense. And it's also the prime block. Prime block and whale resistance. So in fact, we can even put it slightly higher, right, if you want to be more secure about it. So definitely looking at hype now. Let me check the chat. Hey, stock scalping samurai, but how are you? How's your fan? How's your Oh my goodness. Happy Friday, everyone. Uh because of the effort you put in, I will answer every single question there. How am I? I'm great. Fantastic. How is my fan? It's off. You're right. I should have turned it on. It's off right now. How's my girl? She's kind of dreading life at the moment because she has an exam tomorrow. She has to, because for context, she's in the healthcare field or the healthcare profession, so she has to study about 70 pages worth of stuff, and she started like yesterday. I told her to start earlier within the week, but she was like, I really want to play Minecraft. So, so yeah, I'm actually helping her out. 1 second. Yeah, this is a show and tell stream. So, because her school wants to be nice to her, they do have open notes, but they have to handwrite their notes, and they're limited to like 3 pads of yellow paper. So, I've actually been helping her write some stuff down. So that was my attempt at being in the healthcare profession. Clearly, I'm not an artist. This is terrible as a drawing. So yeah, so I'm also doing that after the stream. Next question: how is my copper baby golems? I placed honeycomb on them, so now they're not gonna rust or oxidize. Thank goodness. How's my trading? Trading's great. So the long from 62,000 right over here is playing out pretty well. Now I'm just looking for a potential entry we can do so I can make more money, because that's the goal, right? Make more money. 3 wins in a row this week. Congratulations. So yeah. No. No, it's because okay, we're breaking out. We're breaking out. No, okay, for context, okay? We started a Minecraft realm, so that's like a little server. And she said that the Iron Golem, and for those who don't play Minecraft, an Iron Golem is like it's like a protector, so it fights mobs or enemies for you when you're not there. She said that the iron golem's kind of lonely, so I made a copper golem because a copper golem is cheaper. And I didn't know that they oxidize, and then if they oxidize too much, they turn into a statue. So that was a whole saga of fixing. Yeah, yeah. So yeah. Anyways, that is a little bit. That's part of my life right now. So we are breaking out on the 4 hour. Let's look at what Salon is doing. That is not the Salon we were looking at. So I mean, we are at 10 a.m. So I do want to look for potential moves now. Uh, I think we can call this move on hype. Like I think I will actually post this. Part of me feels like it could wick, right? So if I go to the 4 hour again and compare what it looks like here on the 3 hour, right? Because there is a premium zone right there. Oh, it's a little higher. I don't know. I think this works a lot better. We could raise that a little bit more. And then we could go for the next high volume node, which ends over here. So that gives us a 1 to 2.3 RR. Pretty nice. Uh, yeah, and then we can set another alert over here and over here. But I might actually just post this because I do think it looks good. So this, yeah, no, look at that. They align here on the 4 and 12 hour. So you can even lower that more. And then we can lower this more since we don't need to be that high. Yeah, that gives you 3.94% of leeway. This is likely to go overextended. Same here. And then this one is still pushing up, but you're likely going to get some sort of slowing down and then a capitulation. So I think we found one of the trades for today. I will probably post at 10:30. Let's let it simmer a little bit. Yeah. Going back to Bitcoin, we are pushing up, and Solana is also something we're watching. In fact, actually, we should look at gold, see what it's doing. So it did break out of this falling wedge here on the 5 minutes. Let's go a little higher. So I was saying that gold is in an ascending channel, right? If we extend this a little bit more, you can see that it's like tapping those things. And if I turn off the indicators here, you can see that ascending channel is really interesting. So it is also forming bullish butt cheeks, evident by the 4 hour. So if I remove this arrow right here and this circle right here, it is forming bullish butt cheeks. Very interesting, right? Bullish butt cheeks. So we can assume that it's going to get to this point, 4825. So I'd set an alert there. Potential scalp short on gold at 4825. Actually, I think I already set an alert. That's so funny. Oh, but again, I am thinking that the ultimate short for gold is going to be around here at 4,935. Could even wick to maybe 5,000. The logic there being if people see a near $5,000 gold, they're probably going to ape it again. And you can see that at this point, there's no volume. Right? I don't want to set positions where there's no volume or like any kind of volume node. So there might even be an incentive to put this up to at least 4,958. I think that's pretty fitting. Yeah. Hey Cody. Hey Lucky Deal. Welcome. Yeah. Love the Minecraft. Alex is gonna watch these streams and just go, "What is he saying? We didn't contract Langestrom to talk about Minecraft while trading." Good morning. I hope you're doing great. Yeah, by the way, for those who are new to the stream, feel free to ask questions literally about anything, indicators, coins, assets. Let me know. Yeah, we can do some TA on them. Let's go to USDT again. So it does look like it's falling. That's good for us. Let's go back to Solana. So it hasn't closed fully above the upper trend line. So unfortunately, Felicia, we're not going to see it yet. Although, actually, maybe if it exists on the 15 minutes, then we'll probably see it. If not, then we won't see it for quite a while. Oh, there's compression here on the 15 minutes. So compression is when your ribbon does something like this. So essentially just goes up, down, up, down, up, down. So think of compression like a spring, right? Eventually, right here is probably where it's going to unwind and just shoot up, right? So if the compression is faced or going to the downside, dot, 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 expect that on one of them, they're just going to shoot down. But here, we have compression to the upside, right? Dot, 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 dot. And we're probably going to get some sort of overextension. Going back to the 30 minutes, though. Yeah. Looks like we might not get the projection just yet, which is fine. No worries. But yeah, I think hype looks good. I don't know about you guys, but I think hype looks good to short. Eventually. Not now. Eventually, because it's still midway through its move. Let's get to 1 day. Maybe I'm wrong. So 1 day hasn't confirmed itself bullish yet, but it is about to face a huge prime block. So you saw this move successful, 50% retest, push up. 1 day does look like it could continue, right? But we can also see that this is resistance here on the 1 day. So part of me does think that this is gonna be some sort of quick move, right? This could just be a scalp, so we could even tighten it a little bit to maximize our profits. But yeah, I think we're gonna have to wait this out. We do have our alerts though, and I do plan to extend my sleep schedule. Ruin my sleep schedule tonight. So I do have coffee, just waiting. Oh, sorry guys, I'm probably killed your earphones. I'm really sorry. My bad. But I do have coffee, so I'll be up until like 4 a.m. my time. So that's like 4 p.m. EST. So, oh, and I have school tomorrow. It's so fun. Yeah. Okay. Let's go back to Solana. Yep, we might get it. Yeah, I think we're gonna get it. Let's go back to gold. Ooh. Carlun Sudden Dea. I think I butchered that, but welcome. Love the Ichigo profile picture. Love Bleach. So, yeah. I don't know if this is telling of my age, but yeah, I love Bleach. Let's look at Zcash. So Zcash successfully hit its measured move, but here on the 12-hour, you're massively overbought. Right, massively overbought. But notice that your Delta Pulse Wave hasn't really slowed down. So until it slows, I don't think you should short it. Right, it could literally bounce off this and continue a tear back to the upside. But we can rest assured that it is going to fall eventually. If we draw this, that, do something like this, it's actually pretty good because it's sort of trying to do things on the midline right here. Failed, broke up, tried support, failed again. And if you look, this is actually the 25% of this parallel channel. So if you drew another parallel channel and you placed it right there, you can see that it's found support at the 25% of the ascending channel. But what an ascending channel often means, of course, is a break to the downside. So that's essentially what we're just waiting for here on Zcash. I think pump looks good for a short around 0.020823. Let's check it out then. Leave hype for now. Let's look at pump. Kind of funny that pump is the one that looks good for a short. You think it would just stay pumping. 0.0283, so it's quite a far off. Yeah, yeah, I'd say it's actually pretty good. It does look good for a short. On the 4 hour, that is your point of control. It is a high volume node, and you do have an FVG sitting there. So, if anything, that is a lot of that's like 3 points of resistance right there, or three pieces of confluence that would say that you'd want to get some sort of rejection. Looking at the 1 day, the higher time frame, it is also the start of your bearish prime block, right? And potentially at this point, you could be overextended on the 1 day. I don't think so. I think you'll be over here. So not really overextended, but could be. Uh, I'd say if this is gonna be like, I think this could be a swing or a scalp even. I don't know if it's a position trade, because if you look here on the 1 day, right, it does look like if it gets to this point, there is resistance. But if it breaks resistance, that thing is shooting up to the dynamic reactor. So actually a very good spot, right? A little bit far off, but I would expect some sort of rejection at this point. So yes, you're right. It would be good for a short. I just don't think it'd be great to stay in it for too long. So yeah, but I think it would be good. Actually, I should probably study this a little more. Let's remove the 1 day from the context first and maybe go for our 15 minutes. Ooh, smart target though on 0.024. Yeah, I mean right now pump is gonna continue pumping because you got support, you got your diamond trend shift, you have people both buying it in spot and longing it under futures. You did break below the fluid zero line on the momentum, but you quickly recovered and got liquidity from the FVG. So, and buying on the 4 hour has basically outdone selling. So I do think you push to this region, and you probably expect to bounce back down to maybe 0.1908. I don't think it's going to be a very long-lived move. So I think we need a little bit more candles to be even more sure if we want it at 0.2069 or 0.20823. But assuming it's over there, we can put our stop loss above that macro resistance, aim for a 1 to 2, and go over here. And I guess we have to lower that a little bit. Something like this. So yeah, I'll just leave that as an idea, but thanks for bringing it up, Felicia. That's fantastic. But yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Bitcoin is pushing. Let's look at Solana. Oh, that's the wrong Solana. Yeah, I think we'll get our projection here now. And right on schedule, right? We are overbought here on the 30 minutes. So I think we might get our retest. We might have to lower our entry, but it does look like we could get a retest. So retest would probably be 84 down to maybe 83. It could even just wick there. How low could it be on the retest? Maybe 83. Yeah, it could be 83. Just like a wick. I don't think it can be too low, because if it's too low, then you've kind of invalidated the move a little bit. Of course, it's not invalidated until market dynamics says it's invalidated, but traditionally, if it continues back down like this, then it's invalidated. But who knows? There's 10 minutes left, right? You could easily push to appear within that 10-minute frame and then come back. I mean, Solana's really pushing hard. It's making up for me calling it terrible the past 3 weeks. I can see it. It's come out on its revenge arc to prove me wrong. So Gur, hats off to you. Yeah. Okay. Oh no, don't want. Okay, I'm putting the water down. Don't want another accident on the desk, and you guys hear the crash, and it would hurt your eardrums. Yeah, wouldn't want that. Yeah, no, I think we can get our a move here and then a retest. Uh, Potentially. Yeah, yeah. I think this could work. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I sound like a Pokemon. No, that's a seal, right? I don't know if you guys see those memes about like seals when they want food. They just go like, and then like they beat their chest or something. Uh, it's absolutely funny. I absolutely adore it. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Oh, you can see that the sleep deprivation's getting to me. Okay. Yeah, and we also have this wig. Wait, let's for fun. Let's just plot this. Find the 70% of this. So it's about point 0.8 ballpark. Yeah, point 0.8 maybe. Ooh, look at that. 90% volume on that move. Yeah, you know what? It could reject here. It could be filling that wick just to reject off of it later. So, I I wouldn't go short here. But if anyone wanted to scalp it, there's your there's your short. Don't know if anyone wants to scalp it right now or try to catch the falling knife. But if you want to do that, I mean, go ahead. But I'm more. No, I don't know what I was gonna say. I'm more agreeable to the long. There we go. I think I'm more agreeable to the long that we have as an idea. Okay. For those who are new, I like to separate ideas and endorsements. So this right here is an idea. I don't know if we're gonna go through with it. It's just a fun potential thing, right? An endorsement is I've placed the order on my account, and if you guys want to hop in on the trade with me, then let's trade it. Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll just watch this a little bit. Yeah, we have 5 minutes before the close. But yeah, this is what I was saying. Always wait for the close, right? It might look like it, but it's always just safer and better to wait for the close. Unless you're scalping. Like, scalping means just own it and be decisive. But yeah, it looks like we're getting above that prime block. And if we close above the prime block, we basically canceled it out. Which means that the retest is gonna be back near the trend line. Yep, there we go. Off we fly. Let's go back to Bitcoin, see how it's doing. So that's Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin's pushing up to 73,000. On the weekly, that looks like this. Let's remove this white line here. So basically touching the last close, which became resistance 3 weeks ago. And then we are approaching resistance at 73,691. So it's also setting alert. And then how is So Bitcoin is broken 73,000. Yep, just got the memo. What was I looking for again? Zcash. Zcash is breaking down. Might take a short. We'll see. What was I looking at earlier? Oh no, I'm lost. Uh, Wait, where is pump? Yeah, is this the pump? Okay, okay. Sorry, I'm just not familiar with the logo of the ticker. Thank you, Hemdroid. Thank you so much. Okay. Yeah. Again, I do want to take the short on hype eventually. I think that would be fantastic. How do the conditions of VIX affect the stock market? That's a great question. So, uh, wait, how do I explain this properly? Well, okay, yeah. Mm, that's that's the gist. Trying to. Okay, no. Okay, I have a great way of. So remember how we looked at the fear and greed index before the show started? Uh, yeah, you were here, NYSE. So VIX is basically the fear and greed index, but for the stock market. So, um, VIX spikes when investors are nervous or when they're a little bit squeamish. And that's why what Stock Scalping Samurai said is correct, that when fear is high, when there's extreme fear, there's an incentive to buy because people are like, I don't want to be risky, right? And then basically you're being contrarian in that approach. So very similar to what I do. I guess the only reason why I struggle a little bit was because I just know that intuitively, but it like took a second to connect the Lego blocks. But yeah, hope that helps. Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's extra technical. But yeah, just think of it like the fear and greed index, but it's not a nice um what's it called, meter? Yeah, it's not a nice meter. It's like it's literally just price action. Price action. Oh, and when it's low, sell. Like when it's low, sell. Because the VIX being low means that people are confident or they're secure. So they're not gonna capitalize on any moves or do any risky behavior. So sell. Okay. Almost getting the close. So Zek is falling. Hype is not hyping. It's not as hype. Not as hype. How's Zek? Let's actually go on the 4 hour for Zek. Zcash. So I mean, you did get a bearish div right here, and you're technically at the close of the candle. So if you go short right now, it's not technically a bad idea. However, again, it is a bad idea for me because you're near that point of interest, you're near that 25% of the channel, and you're near that prime block. So it's likely going to bounce up. I want to know if we can get rejected here again. And what happens over here. Because that 4 hour is just sort of playing with us. Right? Bearish div, peak top, but we still pushed up and we're still transitioning. We have quite a lot of hype, yeah, overbought. We have quite a lot of futures and quite a lot of spot buying, but we are dipping in terms of the delta between buying and selling. So that just tells me that it is weakening, but it's not a guarantee that it's gonna fall right now. Let's look at Solana. There we go. See, it's magic. But yeah, Felicia. So it does say a move to 92, and on the 4 hour, that does seem about right. Right, and if we zoom out to maybe the 1 week, if we can find a chart that can espouse that. Uh, yeah, let's just go Solana. Man, I love Pengu. I don't know if you guys see their posts, but it is absolutely adorable. I have a soft spot for penguins. It's like my favorite animal growing up. Yeah. So we can see that the 200 week moving average, we're below both of them, which sucks, right? Because on Bitcoin and Ethereum, you are above your 200 week moving average, but below the 200-day moving average. So you're here, right? You're in between these guys. But on Solana, you've fallen below it, which is why I said I kind of hate it right now. And I sold quite a lot of my Solana bag, but you are getting close to that bullish butt cheek thing. It's saying that the max you can go for is maybe 108, technically up until the 200 week moving average at 112. It's possible. You are significantly getting low, weakening delta for selling, so it does seem like we are gonna push up. Uh, yeah, yeah. So going back to Solana, I think I'll wait for the retest. I think that's the plan. So if the prime block's still here, if this is the previous day high, and this is support, I want to set a potential alert at this high volume node at around 84.71. See what happens. Again, I do think you get some sort of rejection at this point. You are overbought, you are overextended, your momentum still has room to move, but I think this is where the cake stopper. I don't think anyone says cake stopper, but this is where you'll get some sort of rejection. Okay, going back to Bitcoin. Yeah. So same thing with Bitcoin. I do think that you are gonna get some sort of rejection, but you could also get some sort of retest here at about 72,389 to about the FEG here. So definitely something worth looking at. Yeah. So hype's still pushing. Okay, but you are getting rejected now. If we don't get a trade in the stream, I think I'll just post it. Yeah, but let's look at gold. So gold also has some targets right now. The 1 hour of gold. And then let's turn off, not indicators, drawings. So 1 hour still has. I think we can maybe scalp long gold. Yeah, I think we can scalp long gold. Maybe back down over here to support. Tie this. Oh no, I didn't mean that one. I wanted this one. Tie this first. Do like this. And then we're gonna scalp long it to this area. something like this. I think this could work. If we can even go down that far, because probably retest that 0 line, or we can put it at the FVG. Yeah, top there. Yeah. I think we can go for it. Let's go back to Solana. So it still hasn't done its thing. I think we get this in a couple hours. Definitely not right now. Hype, I think, will push up, so I'm going to play the short for it, or like announce a short for it. Gold, I think we can just go in right now. So I'll just set it up a little bit. Hold on. I need to fix something. So yeah, as an endorsement, I'm gonna long gold at the prices here, and then I'm gonna send the more specific stuff like how much leverage I would use, because I do the 1% cross margin mode strategy. So yeah, 4750. Oh, let's say just round up 4751, not 5751. Stop loss at 4733. Okay, okay, I have my order set up. Let's announce this potential scalp over here. Boom. Oh yeah, there's still about 20 minutes on the stream, so if anyone has any questions or things they'd like to ask, don't be shy. I won't bite. Yeah. Think about it while I'm typing away. Put the fib retracement. Boom. Yeah, let's just say the point of control 4762. 2 final take profit 4808.6. So I'd probably say it's invalid if it gets to maybe 4781 first. Alright, that about does the signal. Let's see what the chat says. Do you believe aluminum prices will rise as the Iran America situation worsens? Yeah, I think so. Uh, you could argue that it gets better because of scarcity, because people will sort of use and demand aluminum more. But as a store of value, I think it'll get worse. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think uh although so rationally, right, it should go higher because it will be in more demand and there's supply shortages, but the behavior of people holding might lead to a sell off, which results, oh, damn, this is a strong push to the downside. Guess we got our entry. Oh, and look at that. Um, uh, I don't know if this. Imagine if this kills me as I'm doing that, and I'm just like, it's all bravado. But yeah, but people who are holding might just sell off. So the supply shortage we have in mind might just become oversupply, which could worsen things. But rationally, yes, it should rise due to shortage and demand. Yeah, yeah. Any last thoughts on trading Bitcoin over the weekend? 4 hour. Your 4 hours most likely going oversold or overbought on the weekend. So please do not go long in the week, or do not long Bitcoin in the weekend if you're not already in a long position. Be careful of fake outs. Be careful of news. They like to drop it on the weekend, so you could take some shorts, but just be careful. Don't put anything too tight if you're not interested in them, and if you don't have conviction in the trade. If you don't fully know what to do, sit it out a little bit, let it simmer. As a rook, as well as a rookie, I say as a rookie trader, having been a rookie trader once, actually multiple times, right? Sometimes not trading is trading, and a lot of people might not get that, but sometimes trading is not trading, and that's fine, right? No one is forcing you to trade, but at the same time, I understand that trading makes us money, so we want to trade, but pace yourself, feel the market, and everything will be okay. All right, there's still 15 minutes on the. Oh, stop, Samurai! You're making it seem like the show's over, but there's still 15 minutes on the show, dude. Here I am, like giving my last words. Damn. Exactly. Invalidation price for shorts, like if it's already done. Mm, I mean, if it's already over here at the point of interest, if it's back to 70,000, maybe don't short it. Yeah, because you have support right here. You could fall all the way back down to 69,000, but that's not a lot of room. Like if you're back here, that's not a lot of room to take any shorts anymore. That's not enough breathing space. You could if you're scalping, right? 5 minutes, 4 hour, 5 minutes, 1 hour. You could, right? But if it's already here, best probably not to scalp. Just watch. It'll probably bounce. But based on what we have right now, break if we close the 4 hour like this, right? Even with this wick at the top, we're just gonna retest this. We're just gonna go back to 72, and we're probably gonna bounce. If I'm being honest. Okay. Solana. Actually, we should probably revisit it. Yeah, no, this is not what I was expecting. I was expecting like a nice close rejection here. So I'm looking for some kind of rejection at about 85.58, but it might be getting that already. But essentially, because we broke above the channel, we want some sort of retest, and then we want to push up to our targets. But yeah, It's basically just your typical trend following approach. You break out, you find the rejection, you wait for the rejection, retest, and then go for a long. Yeah. So gold right now is not doing us favors, um, but it's not too bad just yet. I mean, being 3% down on your stop loss is kind of funny. Yeah. But I mean, you guys saw how wild that was, right? We just entered on the FVG all live, and let's see if this plays out. I have a good feeling it will play out. Uh, I say that as I'm putting my reputation as a trader on the line. I have a good feeling it's gonna play out. Uh, or it could fail, and I think we'll be okay. Well, if anyone joined me on the trade, I don't know if we'll be okay, but please do risk management. Uh, I'm actually only sacrificing, like in terms of percentage, probably just 0.5% of my portfolio on this trade. Now, I did say you could risk 2% because at the leverage that we're going for, um, like my calculator said you should do a 500x lev. And I was like, ooh, that's impossible. So I said 2% because this is technically lower risk at 50x lev, technically. If you're doing cross margin, of course. So this could continue down, right? Could continue all the way down to 4744. I'm ready for that possibility. But we do have a lot of support again. So we have support over here. We have support over here. Right? That's a little baby, a swaddle baby. Yeah. So I think this will play out. And I'm not going to say I've always been right. Damn. Because of. Whoa. Yeah. How's Bitcoin doing again? I think Bitcoin's doing fine. Yeah. Bitcoin's doing fine. A little bit of rejection there. Could have also shorted Bitcoin. Oh. So we still have about 10 minutes on the show, so if anyone has questions, don't be shy. Feel free to ask away. Ooh. No. Okay, let's go look at the 4 hour. Yeah, you still have the 1 hour close on the 4 hour. They get rejected off the previous week high, right? But because this is bullish butt cheeks. Yeah, I almost typed bullish butt cheeks on the alert. I really blame Little Fish for this. I almost typed bullish butt cheeks. I had to correct myself and say double bottom. But I've gotten so used to calling it bullish butt cheeks, so I don't know. I don't know anymore. I feel bad for OC. He has to watch these recordings, and he's always so confused. I agree. No. Oh, it's so suspect what I just said. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Oh, goodness gracious. What have I gotten myself into? I hate that I have to say that I agree, but I agree. uh, that is true. It is better to say bullish butt cheeks than double bottom. I feel like it rolls off the tongue better because it's like bullish butt cheeks. Yeah, it's a consonant, right? It's consonants because it's BB, bullish butt cheeks, and then alliteration is for vowels. So if it's like atomic atomic apple, that's an alliteration. Yeah, exactly. No one will forget the bullish butt cheek, bearish butt cheek. See, it's so easy. Rather than saying double bottom, double top, which are, that it's not. It doesn't. There's no like charm to them. Bullish butt cheek, bearish butt cheek. Problem solved. Yeah, don't quote me on that. Please don't quote me on that. Okay, 6 minutes left on the show. If anyone has questions, feel free to let me know. Uh, yeah. So it came back to entry. So I think it just went for this wick. Like tried to fill out this wick a little bit. If we can close above the support, I do think then we get some kind of V-shaped recovery. So the first take profit is, when I type the first take profit, I don't take note of it until after I put my order in. Okay, first take profit is 4762. So right over here, let's put an alert there so I can alert you guys. You know what's funny though? For the past few trades that have been like successful and we've won in, the first take profit always happens when I'm asleep, like between 2:30 a.m. my time, so that's 2:30 p.m. and when I wake up. So I'm just like, I'm not here to tell people that it's first take profit. So I do hope you guys have like the alerts there at the very least, or you placed it in your order already. Yeah, but I you could also put a trailing stop, but I know not all exchanges have a trailing stop, and I for one sometimes don't really like trailing stops because they end a little early. But to each their own. Ooh, bearish strength at 1. Ooh. For which time frame? But yeah, I have it over here. I love it. Pick divergences like crazy. It's like 15 minutes. Oh, like in general, yeah. They absolutely pick divergences like crazy. Oh, there was a bearish. Oh. Well, sometimes you don't see these things. My bad. Although, it did break out. It is a retest. Tactically. Oh, I think this might go all the way down. Down to the prime block. Yeah, I think it could go all the way down to the prime block, because if it doesn't bounce off the 0 line here, right? If the next candle doesn't bounce, then no, not even the next candle. It has to be this candle that has to close here. Otherwise, the 1 hour is going to be very weak on the close. I don't know. We can just look at it. Yeah, it kind of has to return to entry. Otherwise, it becomes a very weak candle. This in and of itself is an indecision candle. So you kind of want a relatively decent close. Back to entry, perhaps. Ooh, guess we got caught. Well, I got caught. You guys didn't get caught. You guys were just listening to me. My bad. But yeah, I hope you guys manage your risk properly. Again, for me, my risk on this is like 0.5% of my total. So basically nothing. I say basically nothing, but it's like one two hundredths of my portfolio, but basically nothing. So yeah, hope you guys manage your risk if you did hop on this trade. But yeah, I really like the Delta Pulse. I really like the Delta Pulse oscillator. I sound like Rowan Atkinson doing Mr. Bean for a second. I absolutely love it. I like it on higher time frames more. I find that on lower time frames it's not as nice for my strategy, but on the higher time frames it's absolutely sublime. I think gold's listening to me. Yeah, I mean, if we close like this, it's a strong close. We've reached the conditions to believe we can push up on the 4 hour. So, praying that we get to the 4 hour. That is very interesting. Thank you for sharing that. What is something interesting that I experience? It's a good question. Oh no, there was this one time, uh, my family and I. Oh, that sucks. Okay, charts are scared of for the story I'm about to share. So there was one time where my family, we were road tripping from Vancouver to Calgary. So I'm guessing Little Fish will really like this. Also Gur, I guess. Uh, but yeah, we were road tripping, and I forgot the place. But there was like this hotel that's renowned for being haunted, and that night I remember that while I was showering, I heard a voice. It wasn't anyone. It could have been someone from my family because there was like three, four, there's five, seven other people. So we were eight total. But as far as I know, it didn't sound like anyone I knew. And then as I was using or doing my business for nature, it suddenly got cold, and my nephews who are sleeping downstairs, uh, they said that apparently something yanked off their blankets and threw an apple at them while they were sleeping. Uh, Obviously, there's no video because they were sleeping, but it's one of those things. Oh, sea nymphs, interesting. I would have thrown it back. Okay, we have to talk about this next week, little fish. You gotta hop on. We gotta talk about it. I'll continue to monitor this trade, but yeah, okay. You gotta tell me about those sea nymphs. Oh my goodness, I'm getting answers. But yeah, thank you guys for joining me. So I guess 1 minute last recap. Let's look at BTC BTC dominance, BTC on the 1 week. We need to see if we can hold this. If we can hold the bullish butt cheek pattern, we're good. We're gonna get our lower high zone. If we can't, plan B. We assume this is gonna form into some sort of head and shoulders and McDonald's, and we go, right? USDT dominance on its own right now looks like broadening wedge, probably gonna go down. Set alerts at 6.98%, right? Also, maybe project it bouncing at 7.364%. So I also have an alert right there. So yeah, with that said, thank you guys for joining me this week. I truly appreciate you guys. Yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Once again, I am Langstrom. Don't forget to always use a stop loss. Okay, I'll see you guys. Take care.